There's no doubt that literary adaptations, whether in series or film, are fan favorites, especially in the realm of epic fantasy. And that's exactly the case with The Witcher, a Netflix series based on the book Saga of the same name. Not only does it deliver an incredible tale filled with action and magic, but it also presents us with a passionate and tragic love story. That's why, in today's video, we're diving into Geralt and Yennefer's love story, with the books as our main source. Geralt of Rivia and Yennefer of Vengerberg met under circumstances that seemed ripped from a fairy tale, though far from idyllic. It all began on a peaceful day as Geralt and Jaskier were fishing in a river. The calm was shattered when they stumbled upon an ancient sealed vase. Jaskier, impulsive as ever and driven by his endless curiosity, broke it open without a second thought, unknowingly unleashing a being of unimaginable power, a djinn. What began as a simple act of mischief quickly spiraled into disaster. Believing the creature would grant him wishes, Jaskier spoke words that enraged the djinn. The entity reacted violently, gravely injuring him in the throat. With no other choice, Geralt rushed him to the city of Rind in search of help. There, they crossed paths with Yennefer of Vengerberg, a legendary sorceress famed as much for her beauty as for her formidable power and untamed nature. From the very first moment, Geralt was struck by Yennefer's presence. She agreed to help Jaskier, but it soon became clear that her intentions went beyond simple healing. Yennefer had her own agenda. She sought to control the djinn and harness its magic in a desperate attempt to undo her infertility, a burden she had borne for years. At first, Yennefer believed that Jaskier was the djinn's master, but she quickly realized the truth. It was Geralt who held the bond with the creature. With her usual cunning, she manipulated the situation, trying to get Geralt to use his remaining wishes, hoping to bind the djinn to her will. However, nothing went as planned. The djinn was far more powerful than Yennefer had anticipated, unleashing chaos upon Renda. The situation spiraled out of control, and Yennefer herself found herself on the brink of destruction. The entire city was in danger. That's when Geralt realized the key to stopping the threat. With his final wish, he made an unexpected request, one that would bind his fate to Yennefer's forever. He wished for their lives to be intertwined in a way that not even the most powerful magic could undo. In that instant, the djinn vanished, freeing the city from its wrath. That wish not only saved Yennefer but also forged an unbreakable bond between her and Geralt, a connection that transcended magic, time, and reason itself. From that moment on, their destinies were bound, for better or worse. Geralt and Yennefer went their separate ways after that chaotic encounter in Rinda, but fate, or perhaps the very wish that bound them, made sure their paths would cross again. From the very start, their relationship was defined by intensity and uncertainty, by attraction and distance. Both were strong-willed individuals, used to their independence, which made their bond as passionate as it was complicated. Sometime later, they crossed paths again in the city of Ginvale, where they tried to give their relationship a real chance. However, their seemingly peaceful coexistence was soon disrupted by the presence of Istred, a sorcerer from Yennefer's past. Despite everything she had experienced with Geralt, she had never completely ended things with Istred, and that lingering connection created inevitable tension. Trapped in a love triangle, Geralt couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy. Istred, on the other hand, was confident that Yennefer would choose him, someone who understood her world of magic and power in a way Geralt never could. Things reached a breaking point when the two men decided to settle the matter. Istred, true to his nature, proposed a magical duel, while Geralt, ever direct, favored a physical fight. Yet deep down, they both knew that fighting was futile. Yennefer would never belong to anyone but herself. When the moment of truth arrived, she chose neither of them. Her love for Geralt was real, but so was her independence. That was when Geralt realized that no matter how much he loved her, there were things he could never change. He chose to walk away, accepting that his relationship with Yennefer was fated to be an endless cycle of reunions and farewells, marked by fleeting moments and inevitable goodbyes. After their bitter farewell in Ginville, Geralt continued on his path, trying to move past the emotions that Yennefer always stirred within him. But their story was far from over. Months passed without them crossing each other's paths. And yet, Yennefer always found a way to linger in Geralt's thoughts. When Geralt met Ciri, Yennefer lingered in his mind, woven into every doubt and decision he faced. His relationship with the sorceress had taught him that destiny was complex, something that couldn't always be controlled, and that the most important connections were often the hardest to accept. As he struggled with the idea of embracing his role in Ciri's life, he couldn't help but compare it to his bond with Yennefer, reflecting on responsibility, love, and second chances. Sometime later, on a mission that led him to face dangerous creatures, Geralt was gravely wounded while protecting a merchant named Jurga. Weak and teetering on the brink of death, his mind wavered between reality and illusion. In his fevered delirium, he saw Yennefer, not as the proud and distant sorceress she often was, but as a gentle presence, tending to him with care, whispering words of comfort. This vision was no coincidence. It was a clear sign of how deeply intertwined their lives were. Despite all the separations, misunderstandings, and wrong choices, in his most vulnerable state, his mind always returned to Yennefer. He remembered the moments they had shared, the decisions that had torn them apart, and he wondered if there had ever been a real chance for a future together. But he also realized that their relationship had always been shaped by the impossibility of ever truly belonging to each other's worlds. Sometime later, fate brought Geralt and Yennefer together once again. Geralt realized that Ciri needed more than just Witcher training, so he sought out Yennefer and brought her to the Temple of Melitele, where the sorceress would become Ciri's mentor. At first, Yennefer and Ciri's relationship was far from easy. Ciri saw the sorceress as distant and strict, while Yennefer, accustomed to her independence, remained as reserved as ever. However, over time, their bond evolved. Yennefer became a mother figure to Ciri, guiding her in harnessing her power and deepening her understanding of magic. In return, Ciri found in Yennefer the guidance and support she had never truly had before. Their growing bond was crucial, not only for Ciri's development, but also for the relationship between Geralt and Yennefer. Despite their complicated past, Ciri became the thread that wove them together in a shared purpose, her safety and training. For the first time, they put aside their differences and worked together, deepening their connection in a more meaningful way. From that moment on, Yennefer and Geralt started to forge an unconventional family with Ciri. The bond they shared with the girl became so strong that at some point they prioritized her well-being over their own, even over their relationship. After the disastrous events at the Sorcerer's Conclave, Yennefer helped Ciri escape, once again tearing her and Geralt apart. Yet, even in separation, they remained bound by the same goal: finding Ciri and reuniting as a family. Determined to track her down, Yennefer followed her own leads. But in the process, she was captured by Vilgefortz, a ruthless sorcerer with his own plans for Ciri. Her capture was not only a major setback in her mission, but also a crushing blow to Geralt, who was left searching for her in the dark, plagued by uncertainty. Meanwhile, Geralt pursued Ciri's trail through war-ravaged lands, facing relentless dangers. Though his mind was focused on finding her, he couldn't help but worry about Yennefer. He knew that, somehow, fate would bring them together again, but the lack of news about her tormented him. Despite the hardships, his resolve never wavered. Both he and Yennefer were willing to make any sacrifice to protect Ciri. At last, after countless trials, Geralt and Yennefer were reunited in the final battle at Stygia Castle, fighting side by side against Vilgefortz in a relentless struggle. Though they succeeded in rescuing Ciri, the cost was high. The wounds of battle and the losses they had suffered left deep scars, making their future together more uncertain than ever. After their victory, Geralt and Yennefer set off for Rivia, hoping to find some peace. a moment of respite after so much suffering. But peace eluded them once again. A violent uprising erupted in the city, and amid the chaos, Geralt was gravely wounded. Desperate, Yennefer poured every ounce of her magic into saving him, channeling every last spark of her power until she was utterly drained. Yet, despite her efforts, Geralt's life was slipping away. At the last moment, Ciri appeared, wielding a magic beyond comprehension. She achieved what seemed impossible, saving both Geralt and Yennefer, pulling them back from the brink of death. Then, something unforeseen happened. Through the dense mist veiling the river, a mysterious boat emerged. Without saying a word, Ciri placed Geralt and Yennefer aboard, watching in silence as the vessel drifted slowly into the unknown. The image of the boat gliding across the water left a lingering question in the air. Had they finally found peace on the fabled Isle of Avalon, or was this just another chapter in their never-ending tale of partings and reunions? It's a mystery we may never truly uncover, but perhaps that's exactly how their story was meant to be. Let me know in the comments what other topics you'd like to see covered on the channel, and remember, if you enjoy this type of video, the best way to support me is by leaving a like, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. See you in the next video.